Yo, what's up everybody? Hope y'all are doing well today. So in this video, I'm going to show y'all how to make a beat for EST Gee, similar to the beats on his recent album, I Never Felt Nun. As always, I'm going to make this beat from scratch. So I'm going to show y'all my whole process of making the sample and adding drums to it. And I'm not going to say too much else. So with all that being said, let's just hop right into the sample. So to start this off, I actually used a starter from my boy Zave. I'll leave all of his socials and links in the description, so be sure to go check him out. Give him a follow while you're there. But the starter that he ended up sending me sounded something like this. So overall, he's got like a few synth sounds in there and that main bass piano. And I didn't add too much in terms of melodics. For the most part, I only really added just like a few accent melodies and like a sub bass. So for the first of the melodies that I added, I went into Keyscape and I got the LA Custom Grand Piano preset. For the MIDI, I just put in a super repetitive pattern here. All it is I'm just using the D minor scale. I'm starting from the 5th note in the scale, and then I'm going up to the root note, which is D, and then the 2nd and 3rd notes, E and F, and then the octave of the original note, and then just working my way back down using these same 3 notes. I just used that first measure and just copied it over for the remainder of the 8 measures. Overall, I kept it real simple, so before adding any effects, it just sounds like this. And that's super plain. It's cool, but I definitely wanted to add my own sauce to it. So going into the mixer track, I went and put some RC20 on it on the Lush and Crunch Guitar 2 preset. I turned down the distortion and added some space to it. Next, I went into Portal and I got the Twisted Circles preset from the Grain Synthesis Bank. And then lastly, I just put on some default halftime just on the 1 bar and 2x modes. So with the effects, this is what the melody now sounds like. So that's definitely a whole lot more interesting and overall just better sounding than what we originally had. So I exported that and I put it into the arrangement, and then I just cut it so that I just have the last 4 measures repeating because I just wanted the section where the portal was active. After that, I went to the audio settings for each of the audio clips and I pitched them down by 100 cents. So the rest of the stems are in the key of C sharp minor. So for my next sound, I went into Analog Lab and I got the Static Keys preset from the Echoes Bank by HZE. And for this, I pretty much just used the C sharp minor triad and just different variations of it. So for the first voicing here, it's just the normal triad, but with the middle note up by 1 octave. And then for this one, it's just the root note up an octave. And then for the last one, I moved the middle note down 1/2 step and the top note up 1/2 step. And then for my next sound, I got this bell 1 shot. I had that hit at C sharp on the 1st note. Lastly, I got the sub bass 1 shot. And I added some polyphony or a slide to it so that the notes would glide when playing on top of each other. It's similar to the other patterns where it's revolving around the root note and then just adding some slides and switch ups here. So exporting all of those stems as audio clips, I put them into the arrangement and arranged the final loop here. And also put in this transition sound just to make the switch from the first part of the loop into the hook, so to speak, a little bit more smooth. But yeah, after I did that, I just took each of these and I stemmed it out and rendered out the final loop as an audio file. So then I imported that loop into a new project file where I added the drums and finished the rest of the beat. As for drum sounds, I tried to keep this pretty simple overall. I think I used a total of 5 different drum sounds, and the snare and the 808 have 2 different drum patterns. I also pitched up the sample by 200 cents too, so the key that the drums in the finished track are in are D sharp minor. For my first drum sound, I grabbed this clap. It's pretty self-explanatory, just a basic trap clap pattern. For my next drum sound, I grabbed this hi-hat. Overall, I was trying to make this one of those more characteristic type of hi-hat patterns, meaning I tried to make it a little bit complicated, almost like to add another layer to the overall beat. I went pretty ham on the rolls, as you can tell here, and I believe these were all using the 1/3 step and the 1/6 beat snap to grid. And also a tip for making these descending rolls, what you can do is you can go to the paintbrush tool here. You can copy a note down here, and then you can hold shift on your keyboard and then left click and then drag down the notes as you're making the roll. And that just makes it a whole lot easier instead of having to individually place each note and pitch them accordingly. After the clap and hi-hat, I put in this open hat pattern using this open hat sound. And I believe this just ended up layering with the 808. After the open hat, I put in this snare, and as you can tell, I just kind of put it in the typical spot where I'd normally do. So just like on these off beats in between the 4th and 1st measures. And then I put in this snare roll here at the end, which ends up corresponding with an 808 roll, which y'all will see in the next pattern. I believe this pattern primarily used the 1/3 beat snap to grid, but this roll right here I think used the 1/3 step or 1/6 beat. And then finally, after the snare, I have my 808 pattern. So this is the first one, which has that complicated roll at the end that matches up with the snare. So putting it together with all the other drum sounds. And then for the final drum pattern, it's a second 808, but it's just a simpler version that I used in the verses. So that's going to wrap it up for this one. I want to thank y'all for making it this far into the video, and I hope y'all found it pretty helpful. Let me know any thoughts or feelings in the comments, and that's going to wrap it up for me. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.
Roll up, Tess.